into the stream right there. I forgot to have the intro set. I could do the intro, guys, if you want. I could go for it just to look. Let's try to make this look professional. Let's just pretend like this last 22 seconds didn't happen. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. There's that logo. And as I go into the whole intro thing, there we go. There's a thumbnail, and I can say, welcome, guys, to another episode of T3 Medias. Talking through the media is what it's really called. I know there's no S at the end of medias. I just didn't know it when I was creating the name of the show, so, forgive me. Welcome to Movie News by fans, for fans. I'm your host, Chris Fagan, and this is the weekly show where we come together as fans to talk about the world of TV, movies, trending topics, and all that crazy stuff that's going on in a positive environment. Talking with me today is the one and only Giovanni, man. How are you doing? How was it going?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
This is not the first time you've been on the channel.
No.
We've worked together before, but now it's the first time that you're in.
It was a long time ago, though. So yes.
On a planet.
Yes.
Far, far away. What was that movie theater? We were at
Greenway.
And we
saw Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes.
Yes. A long time ago, though.
I still got that video up. That it got some decent views. That was a fun time. Yeah. And real quick before I go into the whole topics, we're going to be talking about the Thanos snap as a topic that I've been wanting to talk about. What if the snap happened in real life? We're going to go through some theories, and I got some articles that I pulled up as well. We're going to talk a little bit about Daredevil. We're going to talk about Jerod, Leto, stuff like that. We're going to get into all that. But before that, I'm going to go into that story right there. That was the reason why I reached out to you, because I knew that I wanted the show to be more, in person. I like doing collabs, via Zoom and stuff like that. There's benefits to it, and then there's disadvantages to it. So when I wanted the show to be more, in-house, I reached out to a bunch of people, and I was like, some new people I've never met before, some people with acting backgrounds, things like that. And then when I thought I had it all figured out, I was like, my wife's going to help me. Daniel's going to help me because he's good being here consistently every week. And there were some people I thought that would have time to do it. Turns out they didn't. And it wasn't because I was being like a jerk or something. Well, I am a jerk, but I literally it just skipped my mind. And then 5 minutes before I text you, that was when it hit me. I was like lightning hit my brain when I thought, okay, maybe it's just going to be me, my wife, and Daniel. And then I was like, hey, I know. I forgot because it's been so long since we collabed. And then, so I was being a bad friend, like totally like cutting ties. I'm like, but I got a little bit of excuse. We had a pandemic. I was busy.
We're supposed to meet up, okay?
Yeah,
6 feet.
It's been a while, so I apologize that I didn't think. But when it hit me, I was like, "Oh, damn! That would be. I should have reached out to him like on day one when I knew I wanted to do this." But maybe because I haven't reached out in such a long time, maybe he's like, "No, screw that, Chris." I'm like, I was surprised that you said yes. I was happy too.
Well, because I was happy you reached out to me, in the first place. Because I remember when we did that talk with Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
I just had a fun time just, expressing my opinion on the movie.
Yeah.
And I like to do that anyway.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can express our opinions live, you do that all the time. I don't. And I feel like it would be a great opportunity for me to just come back and, talk about what we love to talk about.
Exactly. I knew it. I was like, dude. I was just kicking myself. Like, why didn't I think of Gio a long time ago? The guy knows his stuff. It was great on camera. Dude's funny as hell. I'll put your camera up right now. So people can see it right now. So anywhere where you see, so now you got his name and his @ So anywhere where you see his name and it's timed. Now it's saying entertainment news and reviews Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, there it goes. Giovanni.
Okay.
At at the original,
the unoriginal,
the
comics.
unoriginal. I'm sorry, the unoriginal. These things do work. The glasses do work. The unoriginal comics. Anywhere where you see the unoriginal comics, that's where you can find you and your guys, right?
Yes, that's where we do funny skits, and we've done comedy videos since 2019, and still going strong. We have a lot of new content coming pretty soon, so. Awesome. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, awesome, man. And I know, guys, you're probably getting used to the new time that I'm streaming now. We were doing it at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for a while there. When the show first started, it was always like a later show, like 7 or 8 o'clock and things like that, because we got work and stuff like that. So the show used to be at that time. I'm getting it back to that later time. We got to get to a point where we got to give people time to get off from work, decompress a little bit. Houston traffic is not a joke. So like 7, 8 o'clock, that's gonna be like when we're gonna figure out when this is the best time. Thursdays might be, you say, might be the best days for you.
Yeah.
And Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays is when I'm mostly gonna be available to do like the live streaming stuff. But still. Check the channel for whenever because we're gonna do like reactions and things like that. That could happen at any point. I'm not gonna guarantee that, but I can try to commit to a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday live stream at least. Sometimes it'll be just me and my wife. Sometimes it'll be me and my. This sounds like I'm talking about something else, but I promise I'm just talking about the stream. Sometimes it'll be me, Joy, and Daniel, and then hopefully sometimes it can be me, Joy, Daniel, and Gio, and we could maybe all 4 of us could be here all at once arguing about why Thanos was right.
Maybe we should just left everything alone.
Just left everything. Exactly. I mean, what was that on Captain America? Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier. What was that group that they were fighting against?
Hydra?
No. On the TV show on Disney Plus. The girl with the curly hair. What was her group called? Because they were about how they liked the world that after Thanos snapped everything, because the world was more inclusive. Countries. And let's go right into it. Okay, so the main topic right now is what would happen in like I say, our world, or if the snap really happened, or even in the MCU, what probably happened, especially in that first week. Because I always imagined that was chaos when those people first vanished. And then on Falcon and Winter Soldier, the whole premise of the whole point of that series was that group. They liked the world that was when during that 5-year period. The world was more kind of inclusive. There was more resources for everybody. They liked that world. But then when everybody came back, it's like, you know what? You can't live in this mansion anymore because the actual owner is back.
Yeah.
Go back to your country, dude. Now you're no longer welcome here. And they were like, that's some bull. So. Like, what do you think about that? Well, we can start there.
Well, for one thing is that Captain America is no longer there, so there had to be another symbol of hope. That's why there had to be a new Captain America, but he was not the Captain America that you thought he was.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw the whole show, and he didn't have that kind of a spark that Chris Evans did. And
people immediately went to his look.
Yes,
the ears kind of stuck out a little bit.
Yeah,
that was kind of
like
funny.
If he was like a B version of Captain America.
Yeah, he was a B version.
Yeah,
a bitch.
Yeah, no one.
I said I was gonna keep it clean, but I couldn't help myself on that one. I just had to say it.
No one really liked him.
No.
Yeah. But even like it was cool to see that how the world was changed after that.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things that changed after Hulk brought everyone back.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool to see. I have a lot of points here that I made on my phone that I could talk about.
But like ultimately, like that. Let's say that first week of when the snap first happened.
When Thanos, or when
when Thanos? No, I'm talking about during the period when everybody vanished.
Okay.
Like, what would you imagine? Now we can go into both, but what would you have imagined Like, what's the key things that you think would have probably popped off that
the
first?
The key things is that approximately 4 billion people are gone.
Gone. Right.
Around that number. And we're talking about, when I looked it up in here, it's really just that there's not enough people to do the kind of things that keep a nation alive.
Right.
That a lot of politicians are gone. A lot of
people like somebody's like, I'm waiting to hear the bad thing. Go on.
Well, the thing is, if they're gone, then new people have to replace them.
Yeah. Instantly, that would have been like, well, the first couple of months, I'm sure the governments would have been like in replacement mode.
Yeah, and that's with a lot of things, like houses go into foreclosure because no one can pay them. People would be replaced in jobs. A lot of children would be orphans.
I imagine a lot of blackouts because with half the manpower, there would have been the other half would have been there to hire new people and train. But that first couple of months of being 50% of your manpower gone. Yeah, I'm sure blackouts would have been just rolling like crazy.
Yeah,
the people that are left.
I imagine crime would just skyrocket.
That's the thing that All right. Okay. No. There's a reason why I wanted to talk about this.
Oh, it's because of the crime.
It's because of yes, Chris. Yes, it's Chris. Chris wants to talk about the crime. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Well, I'm glad I brought it up.
Not to get so dark, but we're talking about the human mind, and when there's opportunity. Or let me ease into this because I can go dark.
Well, what I'm thinking of is the Purge movies, right?
There you go.
And that, the government issued a purge, but if there is half the government and approximately half of the police,
half the fire departments,
so you would have a lot of areas that are not governed. You have a lot of areas that do not have security. Then you will have people just storming or robbing stores that don't have any employees. Like it would be very easy for people to do that.
And when people know that they're not being watched, they do some bad stuff.
Yeah.
So for example, on Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home, the teacher that funny moment where he said his ex-wife pretended to be Blip just to get away from him. You remember that? That conversation, it was during that field trip. He's like, yeah, my ex-wife, she pretended to be Blip for 5 years because it turns out she was just, hiding. It was just a funny moment in the movie but that's where I came up with the idea of having this conversation. Because imagine like in The Purge, like I forgot which Purge movie because there's like 13 of them.
Yeah, there was so many.
There was a next door neighbor who in this apartment building who took the opportunity to go from like harassing his female neighbor to like, now that the purge is here, he went for his opportunity. He was gonna get what he wanted like the whole time. Like it was probably like an obsession, maybe a little bit of stalking, a little creepiness. But now that the purge was there, now he was like, I'm gonna get what I want from this woman, kind of a situation, and she legally can't stop me. And he was probably going to try to kill her too. I imagine stuff like that. Like imagine a married couple who fight every day, and that husband's thinking about it, or that wife was like, "What if I just got rid of this person?" Half the population just disappeared. And you and the spouse that you're fighting with and plot against mentally every day, you're still there. But you just noticed that all these people just vanished. Who's to say that somebody just didn't take an opportunity? Skillet over the head. She snapped. She snapped. Like, no, she blipped. She was one of the ones.
That could happen. That could happen when...
I'm imagining that happened a lot.
Yeah. I could imagine
that's how dark that I was going.
Well,
what about you?
I wasn't thinking that dark. When I was thinking more like logistically. And I would, for one thing, is that because there's so many there's so many people that are gone.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that like the stock market would crash or something like that, and that it would be so hard for people to like live in a society anymore because there's half of everyone gone.
Yeah.
And
on a religious standpoint, people would just go crazy.
Then, also, because so many people are gone, people are going to move on too, and they're going to forget about you. But then when they come back, it's going to be hard for them to accept. Oh yeah, you're back.
How many people had a spouse who blipped, and then they moved on and remarried, and then that wife comes back.
God. That would just be crazy because
what do you do?
You're trying to go back to your family and you can't.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Maybe they accept you, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
And that's something that is a crazy idea.
When I first thought about this topic, I went into some dark places because look, I just imagine. I live in the world that I live in, and I've always said. Like we said, when what's that saying that things are in the dark, they will eventually come into the light. But when the lights first go out, we always have these impulses, we have these dark ideas, the things that these people when they have opportunity, people can get really dark. People that you wouldn't even expect it from. If people feel like they can get away with it. They will try. They will go for it because let's say the blip happened, people vanish, and then a jealous husband or a crazy husband takes that opportunity to unalive his wife, and she's gone. And like, wait a second, Kathy was here. Was the day after the blip already happened? We saw her. Like, I think you did something to your wife. Could he really be convicted? Because we just saw magically 50% of the population vanish. How do we know that
she wasn't blipped?
There wasn't a day delay on some of these blips. I'm imagining in the court system, it would be hard to convict anybody for murder without a body, at least, because we don't know how this blip works.
Yeah.
I'm just saying my theory is murderers or people who always wanted to murder would have at least a window of opportunity to execute their impulse.
It would be like similar to like a purge.
Yeah.
But until society manages to build back up, then it would
who's to say
go back to normal. Which is another one of my thoughts is that I don't think Thanos was right. And the fact that yes, you can kill everyone like this, but eventually society will climb back up the numbers,
right? Just
like they would, in any society. Like you look at the Black Plague that happened in Europe. Yes, it killed a
lot of people,
a lot of people, but they got back up again. So if his theory is that there is only limited resources for the amount of living organisms in the universe. Yes, you can kill them off, but they will come back. What he should have, I'm just going to say, he should, but like focused on is like pollution or
hunger.
Hunger, yeah.
Tupac said that before. Instead of a war on poverty, there's a war on drugs. But if you solve the poverty thing, then maybe there wouldn't be so much drug use. You got to go to the source of the problem.
Yeah, and Marvel doesn't focus on that.
Yeah, they just want to see what
this
can
is PG-13 for a reason.
Yeah,
they're not.
We can't get that political. That's why I was surprised that Falcon and Winter Soldier went so deep in race. I was surprised
by that too.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're finally gonna have a show. I'm like, it's this.
Oh wow, we're talking about how America would accept a black Captain America. Wow, that was a shock to me. I was surprised, but it's just the situation with the blip. So I found an article where they talked about the blip. Let me see if I can get it over here from the Smithsonian. If Thanos actually wiped out half of all life, how would the Earth fare? And there was something that I caught that I didn't even think of. after all these times that I saw this movie. Let me see if I can find it. I don't want to bore everybody with the whole article. The theory was proven wrong as humans. Okay. Even if the remaining heroes triumphed and reverse Thanos. Oh no. Okay, I skipped it. Okay, I might as well just start from the top because I'm gonna miss it. Let me see if I can read it real fast. In the newest offering within the multiverse of Marvel movies, the Avengers superhero team is up against the biggest challenge yet, saving life. This was probably written back when the movie first came out. Across all the galaxies, as we know it, when the cosmical powerful villain Thanos succeeds in attaining the Infinity Stones at the end of Avengers Infinity War, he eradicated half of all life on the universe with a single snap of his finger. And like 18th century scholar Thomas Malthus, Thanos believed that that the amount of life in the universe was unsustainable and would eventually destroy itself by consuming all resources. In 1798, the philosopher wrote an essay claiming that population growth is growing much faster than the food sources can sustain. And if growth remained unchecked, it would eventually lead to societal collapse. Malthus' oppositions to improving the lives of the poor, who he feared then might have more children, provides a clear template of Thanos' motivations. The theory was proven wrong as humans have managed to scale up food production along with population, which in the movie on Endgame, we saw kind of what happened. People kind of adjusted. It was probably chaos for a while, but people kind of maintained and adjusted. Today, many scientists, my screen kind of blanked out. Many scientists worry about the effects of population growth on greenhouse gas emissions, climate change throughout various. Okay. Even if the remaining heroes triumphed and reversed Thanos' devastation action, which we know that they did, they're likely to do. The question remains, what would the ecological wreckage from such an extinction event actually look like on Earth? Here, it says here. And in addition to all humans and animals that would meet their ultimate end, Thanos' reality-altering snap would destroy some of the smallest life forms that are a fundamental part of human health. That was the one thing that people didn't think of because he said all life.
Yes,
in the universe.
All life in the universe cut in half.
So so the life forms that are a fundamental part of the human health are own gut microbes. How would humans fare if we suddenly lost half of our microbes that keep us healthy? Because those things are alive. And if half of our microbes were gone, that's the question. You're in the medical field.
Well,
if we lost half of our microbes,
are we talking about living organisms everywhere, or as their own living organisms? Or are we talking about a human
I assumed that maybe Thanos' snap affect intelligent life and even animal life
and plant life too.
Probably in plant life too. But he technically said all life. So if germs are and all the microbes, and if those things are alive, which we know they are, the germs or the microbes that help keep us, that fight off infection and stuff, half of them would have been snapped. So wouldn't a lot of living organisms throughout the universe have been vulnerable to disease?
Yes, it could have been like immunocompromised.
And Perry Kelly says Thanos is why he got the Infinity Stones, like in the Marvel superheroes arcade game. Yeah, I played that game too. But the microbiome is a complex ecosystem of organisms that includes bacteria, but also viruses as well as fungi, says Zuri Sullivan, an immunologist at Yale University. The microscopic ecosystem serves three main functions. First, it helps the host digest food by breaking down complex molecules. Humans have a pretty limited ability to digest complex plant material, so we rely on these commensal bacteria in our microbiome to break down complex carbohydrates that we get from eating plants. They go real deep.
That's very deep.
Now, I'm assuming that that Thanos was smart because when Hulk brought everybody back, he had to focus on just bring everybody that we lost, do not change anybody that we've gained or anything like that.
Years.
So you can concentrate and focus on some specifics. I'm assuming Thanos did that when he made it snap, even though he had an axe in his chest. Yeah, when Thor.
Well, he's been thinking about that his whole life.
Yeah,
he knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Good point.
And he wasn't going to change it because he was injured, which it seemed pretty fatal.
Yeah,
but no, he was dead on set. Not just the whole movie, but his entire existence.
Life. Yeah, whenever he set himself on his path. So I'm assuming that maybe he had it all planned out and written down. And maybe he named it Order 66 or something like that. We'll just give it a name, right?
Sure.
And when he did the snap, he probably was in his mind thinking, execute Order 66. Whatever I wrote down, my whole master plan, that's what I'm snapping about.
Yes.
Instead of just kill half the life on the earth. Because if he just killed half the life, then he's killing our immune systems and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that either. But that's
blew your mind on that one.
Mind blown.
So I mean, but is this theory right? I mean, you're in the
well, if we're talking about the movies, they don't ever mention that,
right?
But I would say yes, but also during the time that after the snap happened, it didn't seem like humans were immunocompromised just because the snap happened.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Fagan and them weren't thinking about that. I mean, that would be a pretty bleak movie.
But if we're talking about that
I'm talking about in real life. If it was to happen,
if it was
in real
life, then yeah, it would be.
That would have been an extinction of human beings, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Most likely, yes, except for the people who did not get affected. If the people who did not get affected by their body being untouched by the snap, then they would be fine. But the people who did,
no. The theory is even though they physically did not snap, half of whatever germs or whatever or microbes within them probably did. That's the theory because they're alive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not just the half. It's separated in a kind of a way that's non-biased. The unoriginal comic says, "Yo," by the way. I know who that is.
But you know what? I think you just proved this article wrong because I think what you just said is correct. Technically, all the people who were snapped did take away 50% of those microorganisms along with the people that were snapped. It's not like when the Winter Soldier turned to dust, his microorganism germs were like, I'm free. No, they're gone. They're probably gone too. So technically, that is 50%.
Yeah. And here's another thing. The clothes that they're all wearing, they get snapped away.
They get snapped away.
Clothes are not alive.
Exactly.
It's part of your person.
Yeah. Which means that whatever germs or microorganisms, whatever viruses, whatever that they had inside their body at the time, probably were snapped as well. Yes. Which technically counts.
And it's not like you're gonna snap and then you come back naked.
Exactly.
No.
So right there with one sentence, he just proved this whole article wrong. Because based on this article, he's saying that 50% of all the germs or microorganisms, if I'm saying that word right, microorganisms in your body snapped as well. But why? Because they all the people who were snapped, they also had those germs and things in their bodies as well, and they're gone. So it already accomplished that goal of those organisms
of the person.
Yeah.
We didn't see people partially.
Yeah, I'm sure pregnant women. I'm sure their babies went with them.
I would assume that.
I would hope so.
And, also, what was it? The director, the Rooster Brothers, when they were talking about, let's say people who were in planes.
Yeah.
They got snapped.
Yeah.
When they got brought back, the Hulk managed to make sure that the people were safely on the ground.
Right.
They weren't just brought back 35,000 feet
in the air, because that'd be chaos. That would be a funny ass movie though, man. Could you imagine people just but Because sometimes people are like, where if that same plane was landed safely on the ground, then and never flew again, then people will probably appear in those seats again, even if the plane was reused. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure Hulk was mad.
Hulk made sure that people were okay.
Yeah, because people technically came back where in the same spot that they got snapped from. But I'm assuming since the laws of the universe, matter can't occupy the same space or whatever. What's that theory that goes? The same matter can't occupy the same space. We're talking about time travel now, but yeah. But I'm assuming that let's say you were sitting in that seat when you got snapped, and then 5 years later somebody else is sitting in that exact same seat. I'm just gonna come back. I'm pretty sure you're gonna
around top of them,
or you're probably gonna appear right next to them or something like that.
In a safe appear in the same
space.
Because then we'd both die.
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly. And I would call Hulk an ultimate failure in that situation, but
there's a scene in Far From Home, just right in the beginning. You see the band, right? With the band,
yeah.
They just appeared right next to them. They didn't appear on the same place.
Yeah,
but they did fall down.
Yeah, and people were. I think it was a basketball game that was happening at the time, right?
Yeah,
and it was none of the people like ran through anybody while they were reforming. It was out of the way of everybody else. So I'm assuming that Hulk was he managed to say something like safely, like you said, bring back everybody.
Yes, and the writers did confirm it too. So,
yeah,
good on them.
Could you I mean, that whole time when the snap was also going on, I'm loving that on like shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, shows like Hawkeye, things like that. We're seeing and WandaVision. And we're seeing what happened when people. I think WandaVision captured it the best with that hospital scene, the chaotic moment when people were reappearing back in the hospital.
Yeah, that would be crazy because you get the point of view of the protagonist just walking around, and you see people reappearing on hospital beds right next to her.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine the chaos in every hospital where people are coming back.
Yeah,
and they're not going to have enough beds for anyone at that point.
My wife works in the NICU, and I wish she was. I would get her.
She would have a good point of view on this. I think
if I could only imagine if she was working one night because she works the night shift. If the hospital, if the NICU filled up with like 25 to 50% more babies, she probably would quit right there on the spot. Nope, I can't do this. Like, oh my God, could you?
But then again, you would have other nurses who passed away who would come back
who would have came back.
Like, hey, are you alive? All right, cool. Can you come into work? But I just.
Like I just like dude,
into existence.
Like you had a 5-year vacation, dude. Yes. Get your ass to work.
Help us with everyone else. Yeah.
Even though it was 5 seconds to them, it's like it's been 5 years, dude. You need to get to work. But that also makes me think about, damn, there was some new parents out there who just gave birth, and they're looking at their child being taken care of by the NICU nurse behind that glass. And watch their baby vanish,
or the other way around,
or the baby will watch
or the baby will have no parents.
Yeah, the baby lost their parents. That's a
depressing thought.
It's so many scenarios.
Yeah.
That any scenarios, other scenarios you can think of like probably happened. Besides like mid-sex.
I would imagine like someone driving. And
we saw that though.
Yeah, we saw that.
Nick Fury.
And yeah.
But like car crashes and planes.
I would imagine just pileups of cars.
Yeah. Ooh, getting their cars out of the way for a while. That would have taken a long time.
And like there's half the people who drive tow trucks now.
Being a tow truck driver during the snap would have been money.
Well, if there was money to be made. Yeah.
Like what's going on with the currency? Well, it looked like they figured it out and they got the currency. I'm sure, like you said, the stock market crashed. Currency probably didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like forget money. I don't care about paper money. I need food. I need water.
Everyone would go into emergency mode at that moment.
Joel Samuel says, "Oh my God, hey Gio."
What's up, Joel?
Look, I always say the same thing. Let me switch the camera. In a zombie apocalypse or during the snap, I say the same thing. While all the idiots are like ransacking the Walmarts, looking for canned foods and stuff like that, you guys are idiots. Go to the pet stores. Why do I say this?
I'm curious too.
When all the food runs out, you're gonna be eating whatever you can anyway. And if you're all snooty and uppity about, oh, I'm never gonna eat that cat food, when you're starving, eventually you're gonna be thinking, I'm gonna eat that cat food. So instead of fighting for your life against somebody in Walmart who's willing to stab you in the neck with a number 2 pencil for that last can of soup of whatever, go straight to the pet store and pile and stock up, because you're going to be there next week anyway when all the food runs out. So be the first one there.
I'm going to be the one who looks for the Twinkie bus, just like
that is a myth, sir. Twinkies do not. I can confirm. I just had an old Twinkie in my house. I had it was a 2 or 3 year old Twinkie. I opened it to see it. That was hard as a rock. Myth.
Oh.
Myth.
Why you got to ruin my fantasy like that?
Ask my wife. It's what I do.
Oh my God.
I ruin fantasies, bro. I'm telling you, go to the pet stores, guys, because you're going to be there in a week anyway. Be the first one there, because everybody's going to be fighting for that. Like I said, first week of the snap, people are going to be fighting each other, killing each other. It's going to be kill or be killed. And when you go into the Walmart or all the places where the last bits of canned foods are available, look how people act during what is after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Look how people used to act then.
God, people are animals.
Imagine that. But
for
nobody's gonna think about the pet store in the but after a week of starvation, you're gonna be thinking about it. So be the first.
I feel like people who have some kind of a yard and hopefully it's safe, would start growing their own food, just because if they can grow their own food, and this would be perfect if you're a farmer, but you would be self-sustaining.
Oh yeah, you would be untouched. You know what's better than being that guy who knows how to grow their own food? Being the next door, I'm the bleak guy, being the next door neighbor to that guy who knows how to grow his own. Because I don't have to learn how to grow my own food. I can just wait for him to grow the food and then take his stuff. I just have to stockpile on shotguns. That's all I have to do.
You can't imagine people stocking up on weapons and.
Oh yeah. America would be the most dangerous place in the world to be in.
Everywhere.
They've done bans on automatic weapons in most countries out there.
Oh well, yeah.
America would be America would have the highest supply of dangerous weapons than any other country in the world. So I would want to be out in the country. I would want to be where
just isolated. Hopefully you have at least part of your family.
Yeah.
And maybe, a pet.
Yeah.
I would suggest getting a big dog.
Would not. I mean, for protection, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
But honestly, I mean, if I'm in an what is that? What was that Will Smith movie?
I Am Legend.
If I'm in an I Am Legend situation, yeah. But in a Blip situation, it reminds me of that movie Tank Girl. Did you ever see that old movie?
No.
Tank Girl?
No.
I don't know what it was, but it was a water shortage. So having pets was illegal. There was a person that had, I forgot what pet it was. Was it a cow or something like that? And then when the powers that be of the government or whoever, they saw it, they shot it right there on the spot. Don't you know that having pets is illegal? There's a water shortage. They shot it right there on the spot. Because there's not enough water to go around. They killed that.
I would imagine in a Blip, there's no one to refine the water to make it, for clean, to have clean water in your tap.
But the river, but if you can find the river, the fresh water and stuff is still technically there. So if you're able to find it, you'll be okay.
City, then no.
But if you're in the city, and especially if you got that city mentality, you're screwed. No. Pierre Pelli says, "What if you went to the dollar store for the last resort The dollar store, Walmart, all these stores that
Everyone's
people
gonna
frequent,
think they're
gonna think those at the exact same time. Those are the most dangerous places to go to first. That's why I said Petco, because no one's gonna think of that except other pet owners. And I'm sure I could take a cat lady. I'm thinking I could.
I would say get in contact with people who are in like the big like warehouses that stock food, because you can only have special access if you know people who, like, those are the warehouses that stock other grocery stores.
Yeah. I'm sure those guys, those shift leaders who work at those warehouses, I'm sure they're probably going to shut it down and keep it for themselves. I'm sure they would be the black market. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I would imagine those would be the biggest jerks to try to deal with.
If you're like, all right, I'll trade you, my 12-gauge shotgun. You give me some of stuff. Give me that. It's gonna be a whole lot of like give and take.
The black market would go skyrocket.
That's what the currency would be.
Yeah. Food, water, like things like that. Like any nostalgia thing, a can of Pepsi or Coca-Cola or something like that.
I'm like, I want some hot Cheetos.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah. And they didn't really talk about that during like stuff like that. In game and things like, because obviously we didn't have time to talk about.
But they were more focused on like bringing our heroes back,
getting to that point. Yeah, it was already the 5th year later. I would be interested in either a series or more flashbacks of what happened during the Blimp, or especially from the beginning of the Blimp.
Well, What If is already a show. What if they did more of a What If in the Snap or Blip?
Yeah,
and without getting too dark. But I feel like they could explore it quite a bit with some kind of what if. But what if focuses on heroes mostly, and I don't think
I would like. I don't want to see maybe a whole series on it, because then it would kind of get too Walking Dead for me. But maybe it would be like one episode of something where maybe in the next season of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or Captain America and Winter Soldier, where they can go further into what was going on during. I think that's the perfect show where we could find out what was going on during the Blip, or the first week. One episode focused on the first month or the first week or the first couple of months of the Blip, how people were treating each other, what happened with the stores, the chaos, the stock, like you said, the stock market.
Do you think maybe Moon Knight might touch on that?
No. I had to think about it for a second. I don't think it will.
Well, I would like it anyway. I don't.
I take that back. I mean, because we're talking about a person with mental issues. People are very focused on, especially people who also suffer from what his character is suffering from. They're worried about whether or not Marvel is going to be sensitive about that subject of his condition. But that would be interesting to see how he handled the snap. If he wasn't snapped, how did he handle
how did he handle everyone coming back too? It would be a good way to show
a good
what
episode.
Society is like in the eyes of this new hero.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about him, but I mean I'm obviously excited.
Yeah.
So.
Knowing that he has that mental condition.
Yes.
That's something we didn't even think of. What did people with mental conditions go through during the snap? Especially people who were dependent on family members or caretakers, and they instantly lost them. Or, and I'm sure Thanos wasn't worried about that. All the people who need caretakers, they should be snapped or something like that. But I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure he wasn't going with that.
He didn't care about that. Who lived or died.
They would have to, people would have to go door to door and find if there's an elderly person in this house, or a person who has special needs. People who were suffering from mental issues. Man, wow, I didn't think of that.
What I'm thinking of is what if, and this is just, an all in what if, what if Joaquin Phoenix's Joker went through that?
Laughing the whole time, probably. I don't know.
Before he became the Joker, he was this loner that was just, I hate society and nobody likes me. Mm-hmm. And then half everybody's gone.
Like, they didn't like me so much they are pretending to vanish to get away from me. Yeah. Yeah, it would make I don't know. Maybe a loner like that would thrive in something like that. I mean,
but I think like Heath Ledger's Joker would thrive on it.
He would love it.
Yes, because there's chaos everywhere.
Anything with chaos,
and then I will thrive on that chaos.
And that's a good conversation right there.
Right?
How would some DC characters handle the snap? Batman would just be in Batman mode. Another day in Gotham.
Well, he would probably be just trying to find out like, how can I fix this crime?
Yeah.
How can I fix the crime? And well, it's not just Gotham anymore. It's everywhere.
Yeah. And he would be jumping from rooftop to rooftop screaming, Selena, where are you? Selena.
What is this for?
Vengeance. Alfred. Where is he? Where is he? Who is this Thanos you speak? Yeah, like I could just imagine. But Moon Knight. I didn't think of that. Because in every series, on almost every series so far. No, in every series so far, they've touched on the snap. Mm-hmm. Even Hawkeye. That with I call her Black Widow. I know Scarlett Johansson settled her lawsuit, and there's a chance she could come back. No. We have a new Black Widow. And they even touched on that. Damn.
Maybe I need to learn more about Moon Knight before I get more ideas. I mean, I never even read a comic about it.
Me neither. I mean, but even not knowing anything about it, I'm still based on your question. I'm fascinating. What would a person with that condition? What would he go through during that's got to be painful. Even
like the street level Avengers. Well, they're not Avengers. They're Defenders. Yeah.
Jessica Jones would have loved it.
Yeah, because she kind of thrives on the chaos too. Luke Cage, I feel like he would want to bring the justice back into the city. He would be more like a vigilante, just like Daredevil would.
Yeah, I could imagine Daredevil being snapped though. I don't know why. I feel like he'd be gone.
Too. Yeah.
Let's see. The unoriginal comics. I'm gonna make sure Gio is my neighbor so I can take his food after he grows it. Thanks in advance, brother. He's taking my advice about being that. You see, you don't have to learn how to grow your own tomatoes. You just have to be the next door neighbor to the guy who knows how to grow his own tomatoes, and then knock that guy out and steal his tomatoes.
Well, then again, when you do that, that means that you're going to have to probably kill everyone in that house so that you can now gain property of what that person has or what that family has, so that you can start growing their stuff. Because if you take their stuff and you don't grow more.
But what if you don't have a green thumb? It's better to intimidate them and threaten. You work for me now. I can imagine the tracksuit mafia really thriving in that situation.
Any kind of
you
mafia.
Grow for me. You grow for me, bro. Grow, bro. Grow.
Well,
grow, bro. You grow, bro. You grow tomatoes, bro. I'm taking my wife to see half of the Maroon 5, the Maroon 2.5. Oh my God. The entertainment business. The Maroon 2.5. Yeah.
Entertainment?
Entertainment's gone.
Yeah.
Half of the Netflix subscribers are gone, which means Netflix goes under.
Imagine what the first movie after post-snap would be like. Whoever makes the movie, what is it going to be? You don't know.
I could imagine people saying that a documentary about the snap would be what they want. But who would want to watch after the world lived through that? No. I would demand Pixar make the happiest movie in the world that I go to the movies to see during that time.
I don't know, make a sequel, or Disney makes sequels to something that we've always wanted. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, and I hope someone sees this. Please make a live action of Atlantis.
Oh yeah,
I would love that. Yes,
if
they made a live action of Atlantis, that's something
that movie
wanted.
Needs a live action because
it's so epic the way they
did it.
Yeah,
it was and going back to, I remember I haven't seen it in a while, but going back to the way it was executed, it's dated.
But it's supposed to be like that.
If it was live, that movie, if it was live action, it would be epic.
It would be awesome.
Because even in animation form, people, I've seen this on TikTok, people loved, I know we're going off topic, but people, the way she was designed was very beautiful. She was a very unique character.
I've never seen a character like that
at all. To see that live action would be very like the Last Airbender. What was that moon princess good lady that like with the white hair? I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Like that would be that would have to be the most beautiful.
Start a petition.
Yeah, I would love to see that movie. But yeah, you're right. But oh, you got me off.
There's so many possibilities that could happen at the end of a snap or the blip. Just know there's going to be one thing, and that's chaos. That's going to happen. You know?
Yeah.
There's no.
Listen to your friend Chris, bro. Dog food. Go to during the zombie apocalypse or the snap. You get dog food while everybody's fighting over the last box of corn pops. You are gonna be just eating up your kibbles and bits because in a week you're gonna be eating it anyway. So you might as well be there first.
I would say if you live next to a beach, there's nobody. There's gonna be nobody fishing next to you. Just fish.
Yeah, but half the fish are gone.
Yes, but you know how quickly fish can
come back. They said that during the end game because there were less humans fishing them. They had a better chance to repopulate.
Yes.
That was the beautiful thing about Thanos' theory. Because with less intelligent life who takes too much, you take half of them away who are taking too much from the Earth, then the planet that you live on, their natural resources, the other animal life like fish and they'll have a better opportunity to grow. Then there'll be plenty for everybody. Because I don't care if half of the rabbits are gone. Those rabbits they're gonna do their thing.
They reproduce.
They're gonna reproduce like rabbits.
Yeah.
So the rabbits were like, the blip was probably like a week. Lasted a week to them. They were like, I'll replace them. That's nothing.
And even like with you know, if I like reference 2020, nobody was on the streets. It felt like, God, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
But also, greenhouse gases were getting, back to normal. But if it was like a snap, I can imagine rainforests getting bigger again.
Oh yeah, I think this article talked about that too.
Nature going back to what it used to be, and then humans came back.
Yeah, but think about it. Humans came back to a world where 5 years of the Earth healing itself was happening. So hopefully learning maybe hopefully, even though half of the climate deniers or whatever are now back too, hopefully people would have learned their lesson, be like, okay, we kind of got a semi-healed Earth now. Let's try to keep it, like this.
Like
hopefully
I feel like
they would have
these
learned.
5 years people have learned to be more green.
Yeah, I would have, because during that 5 years they would have had to have learned to be more green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
could you imagine that guy coming back to a world where all these damn hippies are? There's way more hippies than there were when I left. I can imagine that guy hating the world after the snap, after the blip came back.
I can imagine that too. Just people telling you like, no, recycle.
Yeah,
like I don't care about.
Yeah, exactly.
No. When you were gone, we all started something new and different to keep our world better.
Yeah.
And then I feel like you're going to have a lot of people saying Thanos was right. Thanos was right.
Oh, yeah, just like they did
But then
Falcon.
you're going to have a lot of people saying, no, Thanos is wrong. Like, my relative, whoever it is gone forever, but now you're back. And I don't know. You're going to have a lot of people with, that kind of, like, propaganda, stuff like that.
Anybody. Now, my theory that I said at the top of the show about that guy who got away with murder, because who knows what happened during the snap. How long, maybe there was a delayed snap a day or two later when my wife mysteriously disappeared 2 days later. Now that everybody has come back, why didn't your wife come back, sir? That wife that you said disappeared 2 days after the snap. Everybody's back now, except that wife. This proves it. You killed her. That throws my other theory out of the way.
You're going to prison.
Any murderer who took an opportunity to take somebody out during the snap, during all the chaos, if you were a suspect during that time, during that 5 years, and maybe the court just couldn't prove you did it, I'm sure when everybody came back and your victim didn't, that proved you did that proved you did it.
Yeah.
There you go. We just solved that case that never happened.
Yeah. Like, yes, no one's gonna know while he's digging the grave, whatever.
Phoebe Buffet. Who is this Geo and why is
Phoebe Buffet from Friends?
Phoebe Buffet says, "Who is this Geo and why is he so adorable?"
Excuse you.
There you go. You got a friend.
Thank you, Phoebe Buffet. I believe on the if you're on an airplane, I think there's something wrong with the left phalange. You got to go check that out.
Yeah. Phalange. It's just your fingers, right? Phalanges.
Yes, but in the French show,
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll if don't you want to challenge me to some French trivia? All right, well, we can go there.
I think you would know more than me. I was just a casual watcher back in the day, but I'm sure there's a lot of people like, no, it was this.
But that's that we went. Oh, I haven't gone an hour in a while.
That was an hour?
Yeah, we did an hour on that. Let's go before we end the show. Like I usually take the last part of the show. I was prepared for that topic to go longer than my typical 30-minute show. I was prepared for that. So when I saw that I was going past 30 minutes, I was like, let's just keep it going. So I always take the last part of the show to talk about other things in the world of movie news that's going on in the real quick segment. So real quick, let's talk about some other things. Did you know that Amazon? There you go. Amazon bought MGM. They did finalize $8.5 billion. How do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, MGM owns James Bond, and I feel like, I feel like now that they own MGM, I feel like they're gonna try to do a different kind of direction with James Bond, hopefully in a better way. But because James Bond is the biggest franchise that MGM owns.
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the people who, I know MGM was the ones who was distributing, but yes. the family or the group of that who are in charge of producing James Bond films, they still retain their rights in production.
Oh,
they're going to still produce, or however,
or maybe
Amazon is now probably the home where they. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that contract expired. Like, they could go to anybody if they wanted, but I'm pretty sure they're going to stick with MGM. But I don't know about that. I gotta look. If I'm not mistaken, there is a I don't know, the original creators of the people who own the rights to James Bond. It's not like MGM per se. That's just the company that they always have worked with. But that family or that group of that
it's
company,
always been one.
I forgot their name, but it doesn't change anything that's going on with how James Bond movies will be made. But
you never know. I mean, Amazon is making that Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah, they got the rights to
that. Peter Jackson has nothing to do with it, which I wish he was. I have high. I just hope it's good.
James Bond movies now. Now the MGM properties that did not have a streaming platform per se.
Oh yeah.
Now they have a home.
Yeah.
They Prime now. They now have a place that.
Well, I don't know if they'll have the
Creed,
James Bond movies
Rocky.
for free to stream unless you.
Well, I mean, if it was already produced and made and distributed by MGM, now Amazon has those distributing rights. So
yeah,
they would probably be available.
Yes.
I imagine.
Do you think they'll put them on a premium or have them for free?
I mean, the past any James Bond movie that's already been made, I think Amazon now has the distributing rights to that. And I'm thinking that all the finished, James Bond movies that have been produced can now be made available on Amazon Prime. I'm assuming. That's just what I'm assuming. Like Creed as well, Rocky also is MGM.
There too.
That's the home right there on Amazon. Like the Amazon Prime.
I was gonna say I'm not too sure about what else MGM owns.
I should have pulled it up. I didn't think about it until last minute, but I'm wondering. It just tells me that their catalog now has
well,
some now some
8.5 billion.
Yeah, they got some exclusives now.
Yeah.
And MGM.
MGM has some classics too.
Yeah, they got some classics. They've got Oscar. They've got almost 200 like Oscar under their belt. They've got some categories. They've got some
movies under their belt.
It's telling me that Amazon Prime, they're really taking their entertainment
forward.
Section forward, and they're taking it serious. At first, I thought maybe they would kind of pull back from it a little bit because The Marvelous Miss Maisel is one of the only things that everybody's really talking about. But with a move like this, they're like, no, we're powering forward. We're really going forward with
I
this.
think they're really powering forward even before, just with the Lord of the Rings series. You know that it's
and with that as well.
Yeah, the budget on that is just unheard of.
It's a movie budget. Movie budget brought to a TV series. It's crazy. The amount of money that they're spending on that.
And,
but Jeff Bezos can afford it.
He can afford that, and he can probably afford 10 billion Lord of the Rings shows.
Exactly. Oh, another flop? It doesn't matter. Let's go into petty cash and recover. But there was another movie company that I was hoping that Amazon would buy. I can't remember the name of it. I thought it was a perfect fit.
There's so many. What, Universal?
No, it wasn't. Not one of the big ones like that. One of those
obscure. Sound like the smaller ones.
Maybe one of the small ones. It would begin with an A or something like. It was something. I was like, what if Amazon bought? What if Amazon bought it? No. You know what? I know what I'm thinking.
I mean, there's so many of them.
Not a movie producing company. AMC Theaters. I thought when AMC Theaters was in trouble, I thought Amazon should have bought it. But then that whole thing with their stock thing happened, and they got a second chance when they. So,
just like GameStop.
That GameStop situation happened for Amazon, and they cashed out and they saved their asses. The other thing, real quick, Jerod Leto. We were talking about this before the show. Jerod Leto was quoted as saying that what Marvel movies?
Yeah, he was saying that Marvel movies are the reason why movie theaters still exist. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of disagreeing with that, and I have.
I mean, you've always hated Jerod Leto ever since he sideswiped you on the freeway. Like this vendetta between you and Jerod is going back like 5 years.
I'm like, you know what? Don't play the Joker again.
You're a joke.
Who laughs like this?
Hey, I like that. Like when he was having that conversation with Common in the club. I don't know why I love that line. I don't want no beef. Oh, you don't want no beef? You don't want no beef? I don't know why I like that line. I don't know why. I liked it. But
I mean, I think he was better in Zack Snyder's Justice League. His
tattoos weren't. The long hair, the tattoos were gone. Yeah. I think his Joker was good, but the way they draped him with the extra stuff just to make him different from Heath Ledger.
Like, oh yes, was damaged.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary to me.
No,
but he recently he was in the news in an interview saying that he thinks that the Marvel movies is what I mean, technically, is he wrong though? I mean, because look what happened with Spider-Man post-pandemic.
No, but also it's not just Marvel, because he only said Marvel, but you also got DC. Batman is doing so good at the box office right now, and my theory is they're not. I feel like there's so many other properties that make so much money. We're talking Star Wars, DC, Harry Potter,
but during and post-pandemic, though.
Well, it's yet to be seen if the new Fantastic Beast is going to be good. But
we don't know.
We don't know.
I'm thinking his comments was really based on what Spider-Man was because that was the first movie to really do pre-pandemic numbers after the pandemic.
Didn't it make over $1 billion?
It's 100 and something million away from $2 billion. It almost made $2 billion.
Oh.
So I checked this yesterday, and I was like, I knew it crossed 1.5, but I didn't know it was that close to 2. When it finally finished its theatrical run, which it still technically is in its middle.
The hype was insane for it, though.
And that might have been what his quote was based on. What Spider-Man. And then on top of that, he's in Morbius. It's in the Spider-Verse. He's probably championing the movie he's promoting right now.
He's like, well, I'm in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I'm in the Marvel universe right now. I gotta pump it up. Marvel is single-handedly making you buy more popcorn right now. That's probably what he was doing.
Well, for good reason. Spider-Man No Way Home was one of the best movie experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm
damn
so
right.
Glad, I'm so glad I watched it on opening night.
Yeah.
It was just amazing, which I commend Jerod Leto for saying that, because essentially Spider-Man No Way Home, it wasn't the movie that brought back people, but it brought back people to experience movies the way they should be again, because it wasn't the first one. Like Tenet was one of the first ones that brought people back with Christopher Nolan's film. Mm-hmm. And there was a few others that I can't remember right now. Now,
speaking about what you were talking about earlier, like there was other movies that did the same thing too, but Warner Brothers could have been more a part of that conversation if they didn't do that day and date crap that they're never going to do again. Yeah,
that
putting
kind of
most of their
it.
that killed that. They should not have. I understood what they were going for, because for all they knew, the pandemic could have gotten worse, and if that would have been the situation, they would have been right.
Yes.
But it wasn't the situation. It got things kind of the restrictions lifted mostly, and they were still stuck to their plan.
I feel like they shouldn't have done streaming on day one. I feel like 45 days or 30 days, something like that, strictly in the theater, and then afterwards it can be on streaming.
Yeah. Yes,
that's how studios could make more of their money. That's why Scarlett Johansson sued Disney. That's why.
Her movie was in production before the pandemic, and she was still wanting Disney to honor their original agreement, which meant to me they should have just delayed the release of Black Widow instead of doing what they did to her, because she had once you learned all the facts, she had every right to sue. It's like, yeah, okay, you didn't know, Disney, you didn't know a pandemic was coming. Yeah. But that still doesn't change the fact that we agreed to a theater release.
Yeah.
So,
and with a lot of the movies that went to streaming on day one with WB, was Dune, The Matrix Resurrection.
They didn't make as much money as they could have made.
Yeah, and The Matrix bombed at the box office.
Yeah, Warner Brothers, I commend them for sticking to their convictions. They were like, we promised that every movie that was going to come out that year was going to go to day and date. They could have still broke that promise if they wanted to.
Yeah.
They didn't have to commit to it.
It's like the director of Dune, he's like, if you watch Dune on a phone, it's not the experience that you want. He made some kind of analogy, I can't remember. It's like watching a toy boat in a bathtub. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Instead of watching a real life boat.
I get that analogy, and there are a lot of people, especially kids today, that will watch a whole movie on their phone nowadays. But most normal people will, stream it and cast it on their TVs to watch a movie.
Yeah,
I get it. If you're on a plane, if you're waiting for a plane, if you're out and about, you're gonna watch it on your phone. But a movie like Dune, unless you're a monster, I'm not gonna watch that on my damn phone. I'm gonna go home, put it on my screen, at least the biggest screen I can get it on.
I have a projector and I have a 120-inch screen for my projector at home.
Bastard.
Well, I mean, when I was at home during 2020, I'm like, you know what? There's this cheap little Amazon projector I can get for like $250.
Yeah,
I did, and I tried to recreate the movie experience for me at home. I have a 5.1 surround sound system.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's the best I can get if I go to the.
You know what you could have did? Like I saw this during the last Halloween. There was while my kids were trick or treating, there was a neighbor who had a projector and cast the whole movie like on the side of their house in front of their, like on the garage door. A whole movie, like a Halloween movie. They played that while they were handing out candy outside.
Oh wow!
You could have been a hero, and you could have cast the movie on the side of the whole neighborhood on the side of that garage, the side of the house, or whatever. That's almost like a screen. That's almost like a drive-in movie kind of a situation.
It would have been better if I'm like, oh, you want to watch the movie? $2. $2.
Why would I have to pay you $2 if I could just stand across the street and watch? But you would have been a hero. I wonder how many. I'm sure there was people who did that. Is there anybody out there that knows anybody who did that? I'm sure there's somebody who did that. They got a projector.
I hope so. Well, the big thing was drive-in theaters got huge.
Yeah, drive-in theaters came back.
Yeah, and in big numbers too.
Yeah.
And well, maybe not me, but I still haven't gone to a drive-in movie theater. I would like to go, but yeah.
Let's see. Phoebe Buffet says Jared Leto. Oh goodness, no. Pierre Kelly. Hey, Pierre. Why do you hate the guy from My So-Called Life? I like the Joker from 1989. Was Jared Leto in My So-Called Life? Was he in that? I guess so. I like Jared Leto.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And he's also a musician. I know that.
I thought you were about to give him that backhanded compliment where where it looks like you're about to compliment one thing, but you really compliment the other thing, which is insulting to the first thing. Where he's like, I like Jared Leto's act. As an actor, Jared Leto is a great singer. like those compliments where you're really insulting the first thing.
You're like, but you said nice things the first time. No. Forget about that.
No, forget about it. Like the best line ever, the Oscar-worthy performance. You don't want no beef. Last thing on my real quick list, the Netflix. Netflix is cracking down on. Let me look this up. Netflix is cracking down on the password sharing.
Sharing your Netflix with somebody. Wink. Get ready to pay more. What is it? $3 more, right?
Yeah, something like $3. Where if you're sharing your password. And Netflix is going to, instead of like shutting you completely down, Netflix might be adding a fee. So if they can determine that you're based on your IP address, I guess that your password is also being used outside of your home, which I'm gonna be honest with you, which is fair because in the terms and conditions right now under your Netflix agreement, it says even though you are paying for multiple people to stream simultaneously, it says specifically within your household. It does not say outside of your. It says it specifically that is like I can watch a Netflix movie and a kid can watch, or the other spouse might want to watch, or somebody else who lives in that house might want to watch something else on Netflix in another room. It does not say your next door neighbor down the street or on the next town over. It specifically is clear on that. But they've gone all these years knowing that we do this and not cracking down on it, but they crunch the numbers. They're like, we're losing money on this. So now it's time to get some of that money back. So instead of shutting you down, it's like a $3 fee or something like that.
Serious money by doing that, though. And
you said they can lose serious or make serious?
Make serious money. And I calculated it. So if we're looking at numbers here, let's see. So approximately there's 222 million users on Netflix. Is that correct? 222 million total subscribers on Netflix. So if we divide that in half, that's 111 million users on Netflix. And then multiply that by 3, that's $333 million that they just made just by doing that every month.
Just by adding that $3 fee.
Yeah, that's insane.
Netflix. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick right here on this article on NPR.org. Netflix announced Wednesday it plans to start cracking down on password sharing among watchers, and customers are not taking it well. And then my screen goes blank for some weird reason. I don't know why. The company said in a statement that in the past, it has encouraged account sharing among its 222 million subscribers with features such as profiles and multiple streams. But the practices are impacting our ability to invest in great new TV and films for our members. Netflix said it won't ban password sharing, but those who do it will have to pay. It sounds like a mafia threat. We're not gonna shut you down, but you gotta pay.
Yeah,
but you gotta pay. It will be testing the change in 3 countries: Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru. For 2,380 Chilean pesos, $2.99 US dollars, and 7.9 Peruvian sol, respectively, users can add up to 2 profiles. Netflix will lose a lot of customers if they do this password sharing crackdown they plan to do, said the Twitter user. How do you expect families to handle password sharing in the case of divorces, their children or college students away from home. Another user said, we already pay a lot for it. Now you're just milking us for every dollar spent. I didn't think about that. Children that leave the home. I mean, technically, you're like, you just turned 18, you're getting out of my damn house. Get your own damn Netflix. But Obama changed the laws where you can still be under the insurance if you're as long as you're still in college and you're not in the house and stuff. So why not Netflix? I didn't think about that. That does make sense.
I feel like people are just going to deal with it and just get new accounts themselves, which it sucks, but or they're just going to have to pay the fee. And
but that is a good excuse right there, dude. I understand when an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend is like, can I still use the password?
Well, give me $3 then.
Yeah, $3. But in a situation where your child who grew up with the Netflix and he's now out of the house and now, well, technically that's the part of growing up. Like, okay, you get a damn job, get your own Netflix. Yeah. I guess should I get a discount if my kid moves out and is not bleeding my Netflix now?
It's like if you have your Netflix, you want to share it to your other friend. Yeah. That means that they're getting their Netflix for only $3.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Yeah. Like if you're using somebody's Netflix and it's just a $3 charge, I'll pay the $3. Yeah, you get to pay $3 from me giving you my password, but I still have to pay that. I'm the one getting hit with the new $23 bill or whatever. Now, right? It doesn't seem fair. But at the same time, you were okay with them using your password for free anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
What's the difference with just $3?
With the $3, let them pay the $3. But now you're creating a world where people can now have a Netflix access for only $3.
Yeah, and here's what I'm thinking. Also, are other streaming platforms going to do that too? Is Disney Plus going to do that?
Oh yes, definitely. If Netflix is always the trendsetter. Once they do something and the second they implement it, Disney Plus, Amazon, all of them will start following suit because they want
trying to milk you.
They want Netflix. They want to see if Netflix can get away with it and handle it. But password sharing, I don't think it's going to stop. How are you going to crack down? That example about like a kid that was in the house and then like a product of divorce or something like that. That's a good example. I didn't think about that. But I mean, what we all know. I mean, when divorce.
With how many people are at home. And because you always want entertainment to stream, right?
Yeah.
And you want to have your Netflix still. So I feel like there's still going to be people who are just going to have to deal with it. And I'll pay the extra $3.
You know what that guy's going to say? Well, if you didn't want to pay that $3, then you should have told your mom not to divorce me, okay? All right? Okay, so she found something she didn't like to see in my phone when she was snooping through there. But now she's got to pay for Netflix. So you go talk to her. Right? Yeah. Stop breaking up a home. Something like that. I can already see some guy.
Don't divorce me. I still have Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. There are a couple. I love seeing those stupid conversations where like, can I still use the Netflix? You're like, hell no. Like no. Like you cheated on me. You're not getting my password anymore.
Buy your own.
Exactly. I'm like, come on, get over it. But that's good. But anything else, real quick, before we sign off?
I think we pretty much covered all these topics that we wanted to talk about. Yeah.
It was Daredevil and Deadpool conversation.
Yeah. I have high hopes for Deadpool 3. It's going to be directed by Sean Levy, who directed Free Guy. And if you've seen Free Guy, it's like if Ryan Reynolds was just in a video game. And Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds, it's always a treat. Yeah. To any viewer, he really knows how to make a good character in a good movie. So I have high hopes for it.
Daniel Salceda says, "Why don't you answer my phone calls, Gio?" Because he's live streaming I'm now.
Live, fool. That's why I put my phone away. He's been calling me every 3 minutes.
I make everybody sign a agreement when you're on. If you answer your phone during the stream, you have to pay $3 to my Netflix account. That's like he's not trying to do that. So all right,
no.
But we'll close it all off real quick. Like I know this was like an old school episode of Talking Through the Medias where we like an hour long episode here. But the way the show,
we can find more topics anytime. But until next time.
Exactly. I just made the lower third disappear. How the hell did I do that? I'll figure it out.
Good question.
I don't know how I did that, but I'll try to fix it later. All right. That's the show, guys. We're gonna leave it at that. That was a good conversation. I'm happy that my friend Gio was able to come back. If you want to find me online, if you want to reach out to me, you can always find me at T3 Medias, of course. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you want to reach out to me, I also have a private account at Chris W. Fagan on all social medias as well. Either or, me and my wife are monitoring those. So if you have a question, a topic you want to share, send it to me. And if people want to find you online, Gio, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me at the Unoriginal Comics we're on everywhere, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. That's where I do all of my comedy skits. And, I just filmed some these past few days. And I know the people who are watching me right now, they know that I do this stuff. So stay tuned for that. And hope to be back on your show soon.
All right, awesome. And when we go through the last couple of comments that came through from the original comics. Wait, you know math? When you were crunching those numbers earlier.
Surprisingly, I do.
Eric Mayorga, he says RIP for some. I don't know what we were talking during the time. I'm going back now in the comment section. I forgot. I don't know what we were talking about at the time, but he says R.I.P. I guess we must have been talking about death or something like that.
Oh.
Then Phoebe Buffet closes the show with Daniel sounds like that toxic girlfriend. What? What?
Well, if the toxic girlfriend calls you, no matter what you're doing, then yes. Yeah. He's that kind of toxic girlfriend.
Like, we're sorry.
When you're busy and then you get those calls like, nope, can't answer.
We're sorry. Gio cannot answer now. He's been blipped. And Daniel, they're closing the show out real fast. Daniel Soseda.
What does he say now?
Just says hello. He's sending us a $5 super chat. Thanks for the support, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, wow.
And I should have mentioned that at the top of the show. During the show, if you do send a super chat, I always encourage a question because I'll stop whatever the hell Gio's talking about. I'll cut his mic to answer your question right there on the spot.
Well, if he does have a question, he could ask one.
Well, he just says with an exclamation point in all caps, hello. So that's what he was. Obviously, that's another person that was trying to call you, trying to get it. Let me send $5. Answer your phone, Gio. maybe that's what that's about.
Late.
But Daniel just says hello. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for supporting the topic, the show real quick. This was fun. This was fun, man. I can't wait to have you back on again. And then Eric says again, Netflix. Maybe some of these guys are like they're catching up to previous topics. We're about to close the show now. And he also Eric says someone there using it. He's talking about Netflix. Someone there using it. He's got to be like back and like 5 or 10 minutes
probably,
delayed.
But yeah, he's like, oh, they're talking about Netflix right now.
Right now,
I have a Netflix.
Yeah, but live. Yeah, you got to hit the live button. We're close. We're about to close the stream out right now, sir. So sorry, man. We didn't catch you. We didn't catch you. Your comment live, or you're not seeing us respond to it live.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Just click the live. Well, I mean, they have to click live for us to see them. For them to see us telling them to click live.
Yeah. So for you to see us say goodbye. we're about to head out. But I appreciate you guys. You guys also know I also forgot to click this other button too. If you can't catch the show during the live stream on YouTube, you can also check us out. We have a podcast. You can check out Talking Through the Medias on our podcast. You can check that out on Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon. We're available on Audible and on Apple iTunes, and
he's on everywhere.
Members, if you want to become a member or a patron, you can also hit the donate button. You can support us also at streamlabs.com/T3Media/tips if you want to send in a question, comment, or concern. That's just support the channel. We appreciate you guys. Till next time, guys, I'm Chris Fagan. That's Giovanni right there, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Our supporters help make all this content possible, so make sure you check out our Patreon page so you can help us bring you the content you want.
Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal. Yo. Turned up on another level. Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal.